Roger. I see P-51s coming in to help. One's coming in fast. Get ready, boys.
The story of the P-51 Mustang begins long before it became an icon of American air power. It starts in the early years of World War II, at a time when the Allies were desperate for a fighter aircraft that could keep up with German technology. The skies over Europe were deadly. Allied bombers were being shot out of the sky by Luftwaffe fighters, and the missions over Germany were turning into flying graveyards. The Allies needed a miracle, something fast, powerful, and capable of flying farther than any fighter had ever flown before. And that miracle would eventually come in the form of a sleek, elegant machine with a powerful roar, the North American P-51 Mustang. When the Mustang was first created, it wasn't even meant for the United States. The British had approached North American aviation asking for more P-40 Warhawks. Instead, the company proposed designing an entirely new fighter from scratch. Within just 120 days, the first prototype rolled out, a time frame so unbelievable that even today, engineers shake their heads at its speed. The early Mustangs, however, were not perfect. They were fast at low altitudes, but struggled in high-altitude combat where most dogfights against German planes took place. The real transformation happened when the British tested the plane and made a bold suggestion: replace the engine. They removed the original American Allison engine and installed the Rolls-Royce Merlin, the same engine that powered the legendary Spitfire. The result was explosive. Suddenly, the Mustang wasn't just fast, it was unmatched. It could climb higher, dive faster, and outrun almost anything the Germans put in the sky. And most importantly, it could fly farther, much farther. This was the breakthrough the Allies had been praying for. By 1943, the United States Army Air Forces had a new problem. Their heavy bombers, the B-17 Flying Fortress and B-24 Liberator, were suffering catastrophic losses during deep raids over Germany. They were brave, powerful machines, but without fighter protection, they were easy prey. Until the arrival of the P-51, no Allied fighter could escort bombers all the way to Berlin and back. But the Mustang changed everything. With its massive range, long-range tanks, and powerful Merlin engine, it could escort bombers deep into German territory, fight off the enemy, and still return home. Bomber crews called them angels. Many said that the moment they saw the silver Mustang sliding into formation beside them, they felt an immediate sense of safety. It was as if the Mustang switched the lights back on in a very dark room. The Mustang pilots themselves became legends, flying thousands of feet above the earth. Cutting through icy winds and flak explosions, they battled some of the most feared fighters of the era: Bf-109s, FW-190s, and the experimental jets that Germany rushed into combat late in the war. The P-51 didn't just hold its own, it dominated the skies. It was agile, smooth, and deadly. Pilots described flying it as if the plane wanted to fight with you, responding instantly to every pull of the stick. The P-51 was also a psychological weapon. Its presence high above Germany broke the Luftwaffe confidence. German pilots soon realized that whenever they rose to attack the bombers, the Mustangs would be waiting for them. And the Mustangs could follow them anywhere, up high, down low, through clouds, across long distances. Slowly but surely, the air war began to shift. The Luftwaffe was losing pilots faster than they could train replacements. Factories producing German aircraft were being destroyed by bombers now protected by Mustang escorts. Germany's air defense was collapsing. By 1944, the skies over Europe told a new story. Where once the Luftwaffe ruled with confidence, the P-51 Mustang now owned the daylight. It led the way for massive bombing raids that crippled Germany's industrial power. Each engine roar of a Mustang meant one more flight of bombers would return home safely. One more mission that wouldn't end in fire. One more step toward victory. But the Mustang's influence didn't end with combat victories. It also changed the world of aviation. Its aerodynamic laminar flow wing was revolutionary, reducing drag and increasing fuel efficiency. Its long-range escort concept changed military strategy forever, and its design inspired the next generation of aircraft long after the war ended. When pilots look back at the Second World War, many say the P-51 Mustang did something no other aircraft could do. It gave the Allies full control of the skies. And without that control, the invasion of Normandy, the liberation of Europe, and the final defeat of Nazi Germany would have been far harder, maybe even impossible. The P-51 wasn't the only hero of the skies, but it was the one that turned the tide. As the war came to a close, thousands of Mustangs flew final missions over Europe and the Pacific. When peace was declared, many pilots returned home with mixed emotions. They were leaving behind a machine that had protected them, fought with them, and in many cases saved their lives. The P-51 was more than metal and horsepower. It was courage made visible. It was determination shaped into wings. It was the promise that no matter how dark the sky looked, something stronger, faster, and braver would rise to meet the challenge. Today, the P-51 Mustang still flies in air shows around the world, its engine producing that same unmistakable growl. People stop, look up, and feel the history in their bones. It reminds us of a time when the outcome of the world depended on brave pilots and brilliant engineers. It reminds us that innovation can win battles that seem unwinnable. And it reminds us that sometimes one machine, one idea, can change everything. The legacy of the P-51 Mustang is simple but powerful. It is the plane that won the skies. It is the aircraft that turned fear into hope, chaos into strategy, and vulnerability into dominance. When we speak of history's greatest fighters, the Mustang doesn't just belong on the list, it sits near the very top. And as long as people continue to care about courage, sacrifice, and the power of human ingenuity, the roar of the Mustang will never truly fade.